Morning.
Yes, you are.
Hey, live streamers, welcome to this wonderful event. You know, live streaming seems like magic to me, but then I'm old. But it really is a wonderful opportunity for us to get this teaching out into the world, into a wider audience of people who might never have heard of it before, but happen onto YouTube and say, I wonder what that looks like. Let's take a look. So welcome to all of you out there. You are part of our group this morning, and we're happy that you're with us. All right, I'm going to talk today about if it's new, it can't be the same. And I want to speak to what Kate just said about how I happen to be here. This is really interesting, and it's divine right action, as we say in our teaching. For the past couple of years, I have been knowing that there was more for me to do. I had retired, and I had written a couple more books, and I just felt like something was pushing me from within, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know how to make changes. My rent kept going up, my income kept going down, and I sort of stopped treating about any of it and just turned it over to the higher intelligence that is a part of being, which is a part of every one of you. And this is one of those things we call many miracles, but it's a mini ordinary. A friend of mine of 40 years said, why don't you come and share my condo in El Cajon? And I lived in Encinitas for years, so I wanted to come back here, but I didn't know how to get here anymore. And so I said, reluctantly, yes, because it's a man, and I haven't lived with anyone of that persuasion for 35 years, and I'm stunningly, excruciatingly independent. I've been told by many people, you're too independent, whatever that means, right? So here, this is what I'm trying to put together. It dovetailed with Kate wanting somebody, since Maureen was leaving, to maybe pick up some of that. And she and I have known each other for years and years and years. I knew her when we both had brown hair. So, and I know she mentioned to me a couple of times that she kind of wished I was down here. And I was actually, over the last few years, I had this thought a number of times, I wish Kate would call me down there. I would love to be a part of that. Now, see how that works? Okay. So this new living arrangement, I store most of my furniture. And this man is a lovely man. I've known him for 40 years, and we're not a couple, we're friends. And he said, you just take over that part of the condo and do whatever you want. Because I have lots of art and I have things I've collected over the world, and I like looking at them. So I did that, and he's just been so generous and allowed me to do it. And so it's all new, but my life isn't the same. I have to draw from within my non-independent self to be a good housemate, to learn how to allow for someone very close in my proximity or their differences, right? You've all had that experience, right? So I see it as an opportunity to develop something in me that wanted to be developed, and that I didn't have any clue that wanted to be developed. But I was wanting change, I was wanting newness, and when I stopped treating for how it should happen, you know, like I need a new work, I just let it go. Things just fell into place like tumblers on a locked box, safe, and it opened up. So that's when I call this talk, if it's new, it won't be the same. But people expect things to be the same, even though they're wanting new, right? So wonderful things can happen to each one of us, anybody, if we allow the changes that come to be opportunities rather than challenges. If we see that we would never have manifested this if we weren't exactly suited for it, right? Because everything comes through us out of consciousness. It doesn't come to us from the outside. It seems to, but it does not. It is generated from within, and then what goes with it shows up, right? What belongs with you can't be kept from you by right of consciousness. So we can trust this universal principle of co-creation of the higher intelligence that's within us to lead, guide, and direct us if we're willing to follow. Now, that doesn't mean we give up anything. It means we take more identity with who we really are. As Kate said, Reverend Kate, spiritual beings in this human experience, discovering what it means to be human. We're not trying to become spiritual. We're already spiritual. We're learning how to be human. And I always say, that's what Jesus came to teach people, how to be human, how to be compassionate, how to care for each other, how to help the poor and assist the elderly and the sick, right? So he wasn't a spiritual teacher. He was teaching about how to be human. And that's what each one of us is here to do. So we want familiar. We cling to the status quo, but our soul is not about that. And when I say soul, I mean our essential self. We all have a core being that was fully intact before we took on human form, and it's still alive and well within us and attempting to come through us. So our soul, let's call it the essential self. It needs movement. It needs evolution and even transformation. It never stands still. And if we go against that, we're living in conflict with our basic nature, which is to change, grow, evolve, become, express, right? When I say those words, can't you feel it? There's energy, there's movement, all right? So when we go against that, we trap vital energy, life energy in our own body, and eventually it'll take its toll. It will find the weakest link in the chain, whether it's financial, emotional, relationships, or health, and there will be an effect. The energy generates some effect. So we want to stay tuned in to this beautiful self. And I want to make this point because it's important. When that energy becomes something that we, quote, say, oh, that's negative, or that's a limitation, I want you to know it's new. Every effect is new. As far as the universe goes, it never repeats, it doesn't repair, it doesn't heal, it makes all things new. We can talk more about that in a minute. So let me ask you this, have we as a Western culture learned to listen to our true self? Now, everybody in this room is a little bit more aware of that kind of thing than the general population, but look at the whole culture. I don't think we're generally listening to our inner life. I think we're looking out there. We're so outwardly directed. We look out there for answers to everything. We look out there to see how we should feel, how we should react, all those things. What can I get out of this? So those people, and I'm sure all of you are meditators, those folks who meditate regularly are more likely to hear that still small voice. And I don't mean it talks to you, but it's a feeling of knowing what to do. It comes through because meditators have fewer thoughts, and therefore they have spaces between thoughts. And therefore the still small voice can come through those spaces. And that's why meditation is so powerful and so necessary in this world of doing, because meditation is all about just being. And the more we are experienced with our being, the more directed our doing becomes, the less wasteful, the less scattered, and the more in tune we are with the natural flow of our essential self that wants to become more through our expression. So that still small voice can come to you as an idea, as a vision, maybe in a dream, and it's somehow you just get the feeling, okay, I know what this is about. This is about me being more available to love. Or this is about what's trying to happen is it wants me to really prosper so that I can move about this world and do the work I keep saying I want to do, which is help other people live better lives, right? So you get this feeling. And we don't have to know how. I know Reverend Kate teaches this all the time. This is basic to the teaching, but it's one that goes over most of our heads because it's too easy. We don't have to know how anything will happen. We only know what we intend to express. And the how comes through that universal intelligence that's everywhere, present all the time, all of it, all at once, never withdraws, never withholds, is ever available and accessible through the avenue of our own consciousness. So I love this Walt Whitman quote. He said, "There's more to us than what appears between our hat and our boots." And we are truly spiritual beings who are in direct contact with our source. And as Albert Einstein said, we are a part of infinity. I'm reading a book right now about Albert Einstein. It's called I Am Part of Infinity. When I come back on the 22nd, I'm going to speak about this because it has a direct correlation to this teaching. He dreamed of a cosmic religion. And I'll just give you this little teaser. He described this teaching perfectly, even though he had never heard of it. That was his answer to the world's problems. So my talk next time is, can new thoughts save the world? Yes, it can. All right, so I saw a video clip recently of a scientist in Costa Rica who remarked, "We're beginning to realize we do not know everything." Wow, that's a great step in the right direction. That's what I realized recently. Gee, I thought I knew everything about everything. Our worldview may be very wrong, and everyone has a worldview. It's our take on reality. What do you think this is, right? So when someone asks, "Do you believe in God?" they're really asking, "What's your take on reality?" Reverend Kate has heard me use this quote 1,000 times, and I do it almost every time I speak. It's anonymous, I don't know who said it. "The God you believe in is your vote for the kind of world you want to live in." Just look at what's going on in the world, and that's what you see. People fighting for their belief of what the source of life is. And as the Costa Rica woman said, mostly we got it wrong. We made that power in our image and likeness. But that was the role of religion. It was to explain reality to us, to explain the natural world. There was a sense in some of the early thinkers that there was as much behind this world as there was in it. And those of us in this teaching and teachings like it, we have a sense that this is real, but there's another reality that is allowing this one to be seen, to be made visible. It's kind of what quantum physics is starting to talk about a little bit. But for the most part, these early thinkers had too small a vision of the universe. And of course they would, most of them, they hadn't discovered a whole lot. So they made the source into a human-like figure with supernatural powers. And I always like to quote, have you ever heard of David Stendhal-Rast? He's a Christian monk, a Catholic monk, and he has a blog, a website called The Gratefulness Project. It's all about gratitude. He was with us once in one of our dialogues in Italy, and he got up and said this, and I never forgot this. In fact, I ran up to him and said, "Oh my God, I've been waiting for someone to say this because I've been thinking this for years." He said, "The monk's experience of God is nothing like the church's theological construct of God. The monk knows God as the more, but not the separate." Is that beautiful? The more, but not the separate, and doesn't attempt to name what the more is, but it is. It exists. It's behind all of this reality. One of the problems over the ages has been the common belief that this is it. This is all you get. And when it's over, nothing, right? I have some really smart friends, who will argue that this is all there is. And when I give my spiel, they call me naive. They called Einstein naive too, so I take it as a compliment. It's hard for me to imagine that they have never wondered how this all comes to be. I mean, that's what got you here, right? Some question, you're like, what is this? what's going on? What's it all about, Alfie? Right? And we had some good answers. And we don't say we have the final answer. We say what appears to be is an expression of an intelligence that is incredible and knows no bounds. Just look at the universe, right? It's all there. So our teaching is primarily the study of the power that makes all things new, which is an apt description of what the world calls God. In fact, it's an ancient description of what the world calls God. It is the power that makes all things new. Wow. And that power lives by means of us. ErnestHolmes, the founder of this teaching, said, God makes everything out of itself by becoming the thing it makes. What does that tell us? It's being us. We are its way to express in this third dimension. We are here to express the qualities of that power and individualize them, as Reverend Kate said in the opening treatment. We are here to personalize the spirit that is the cause of everything. So if it's the power that makes all things new, then it doesn't repeat. It feels like it repeats because we haven't changed our mind. We are still waiting for the new to look like the old. And that's just something that we have to find ways to overcome. It's a psychological fear. And meditation helps, and spiritual mind treatment helps, and spiritual community helps, where you're talking to people who have a higher sense of what's possible for you. You know, they see through the limitations. It's very important because it doesn't fix, it only knows now. So largely what this teaching is about too is the study of causation. How do things happen? We don't ask why things happen, we ask how. How does something become visible that was an idea? That's a great question. Quantum physics is beginning to go in that direction and ask the same questions. It's really great how this dovetails. You know, this teaching has a scientific part, it has a mystical part, and it is very practical. And the science must be there. His Holiness the Dalai Lama once said to us, if there's no science in your religion, you need a new religion. Because science is part of the discovery of what this universe is. It's penetrating the mystery. We all live in this mystery. The mystical part is what we experience in nature, maybe, out in the woods or surfing. It's a very mystical experience for some people. Chanting, singing, ecstatic dancing, meditating, spiritual mind treatment. We experience the mystical sense of being one with something ineffable. It's a magical feeling. And then when we have those two kind of active, it becomes very practical. Then we know how to think. We know what choices we can make. We know how to connect with the world, and our worldview begins to evolve and to change. So the cause is within, it's without, it's all about, we're immersed in it. It's a direct line to creation by means of the avenue of consciousness. Yours, mine, and all of us together. So, although there is this strong science aspect to the teaching, we must keep wonder alive. And that's what that whole book that is about Einstein. Einstein was a great proponent of wonder. He wanted us to be in awe and wonder all the time of this magical universe and how its beauty and its intelligence and how we are a part of it. You know, so often we talk about, when we're talking about nature, as if it's out there. We're in it. We're part of nature too. We're one of the denizens of the forest, just like the woodchuck, right? We are. And some of our early people, Native Americans, Native Canadians, Aboriginals, they had a direct experience of being in it. It wasn't out separate from them. And that can happen to us too through meditation. And also if you spend long times in silence, which it's not easy to do, but worth the attempt if you have an opportunity to do a silent retreat. Okay, let me just finish that. Einstein said this universe is knowable. I have heard so many people say, you just can't know it. The human mind can't possibly know it. And he said, oh yes, you can, by direct experience. Your point of reference is knowing the universe. It doesn't mean you have all the answers. It means you have a sense of knowing it. It's knowable by increments, which is spiritual growth. Spiritual growth is not becoming something we're not. It's becoming more aware, more aware, more aware, more aware. It's incremental awareness. So each increment, with each increment, our life is raised to a higher level of living, and it feels new, right? It feels new. So it's knowable because we are of it, we are arising out of it, drawing from it. And when I say arising out of it, I mean this minute we're being reborn all the time, all the time, all the time. God is being me, being me, being me. And as long as I'm giving God a good time, so to speak, as long as you're supposed to laugh there, as long as I'm expressing, I stay alive and well and healthy. And then there comes a time when the soul, the self, says, all right, I'm complete here, let's have another experience. And another one happens. So we personalize the infinite, making our consciousness visible in the finite. Rene Descartes said, I think, therefore I am, but I think he should have said, I am, therefore I think. Because being comes before doing, and thinking is doing. And so in meditation, we want to do as little as possible, and that means think as little as possible, and just be. Being precedes doing all the time. So we come to understand this as Emerson, when he said, be and not seem. He said, be genuinely who you are. Don't try to be something else. Be it. Don't seem to be it. So we announce our state of being with those two words, I am. And I know you all know this, but I'm going to say it for those out there who may never have been here before. Be real conscious of what you add on to I am. This is why when Reverend Kate led in the candle ceremony, those are powerful affirmations. That's not just woo-woo platitude stuff. Those are powerful affirmations. I am love, I am beauty, I am life, I am intelligence, I am joy, I am peace, I am abundance, I am spirit and expression. I love this life. Say this out loud. I love my life.
I love my life.
I love being me.
I love being me.
I love you being you.
I love you being you.
That's it. That's the energy of being alive and being aware of it. So let me just sum up. Change is inevitable if we want new. And I can't tell you how many people, even in this teaching, are afraid of change. Try to get over that. If that's still a factor in your life, just say, change is beautiful. Say it out loud. Change is beautiful.
Change is beautiful.
Because God, spirit, the mind, intelligence, the infinite, is operating as that change. There's nothing to fear. Just opportunities to express more of who you are. More love, more joy, more of the things we declared we were. All right? So, rather than tell the power how to do anything, have you ever done that? Okay, I want a new relationship, and he needs to be 6 feet tall and make a lot of money. People used to do that in the 70s. That was the thing to do, was outline what you want. You don't need to do that, because you will always forget something. You'll forget something like maybe he's married. You didn't put that in. You don't have to tell the body how to heal your liver. It knows how to heal it. You just try to take care of it so you don't do something that'll ruin your liver. So we simply state who we are. I am the joy of being made manifest, and I choose now to live my life on a higher level of joy than I ever have before. I don't know how it's going to look, but I am ready for whatever it is. Joy is always good, always wonderful. It's the same thing with abundance. Anything you want, health. When people come to me for counseling and they're sick, I always ask them this hard question. Why do you want to be healthy? Yeah, ask yourself that. Why do you want to be more wealthy? Why do you want to be happier? What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with health if you have it? Got to know the answer. I remember Robert Bitzer, an old-time minister. He was a student of Dr. Holmes, and he had the Hollywood Church. And when I was living in Hawaii, he came over there to do a workshop about prosperity. And he said, you'll never have it if you don't have a use for it. Oh, I never forgot that. And that's the same with everything. With everything. Okay. So We want the power to surprise and delight us. I always add that in my treatments, not always, but most of the time. I'll say, this word is released into the ever-present intelligence that acts upon it, and the results surprise and delight me. I love to be surprised and delighted, don't you? All right, so with no encouragement. So say these things with me one more time. I am love in action.
I am love in action.
I am joy on the move.
I am joy on the move.
I am peace in all places.
I am peace in all places.
I am prosperity circulating.
I am prosperity circulating.
I am vitality in form.
I am vitality in form.
Now you see, these are commands. These are commands, and since they are in sync with the universal vision of being, nothing can interrupt their flow into our experience. Nothing except us denying that we are love in action or vitality on the move. So the power will use them to make all things new, just for you, just for me. So we say yes to it and let it be. That's a great Beatles song, Let It Be. It will not be the same, but it'll be perfect for you. How bad could that be? Right? All is well, all the time, and so it is.
So it is.
All right, let's do a closing treatment, which is our way of revivifying what we know at the core level, right? So we always begin by recognizing that there is only one something being everything, one power, one presence. We are immersed in it. The world, the universe is saturated with it. The universe is a visible evidence of this incredible intelligence manifesting everything out of itself. It is everywhere, all at once, all the time. Never withdraws, never withholds, but is forever becoming that which it has made in its own image and likeness. It is ever coming through its creation, which is you and me and all sentient life, everything in the universe, for the simple joy of experiencing all that it is. Joy, love, peace, power, vitality, supply, everything that any human being could want. And so we know that today has been an experience in a deepening within each one of us, whether we feel it now or know it or not. It has happened. There has been some kind of gift bestowed because we heard something meant just for us. A revelation, an insight, a change of mind, a shift, or an actual, what we call healing. These things and more are ours by birthright. And so we leave here today with joyful gratitude. Oh, gratitude so much for who we are, for what's possible, for this place, for Reverend Kate and all of the ministers involved here, all of the volunteers, everybody, and for you folks out there in Cyberland, grateful for you. So let's let it be. Let's let the power that makes all things new show us what it has in mind for us as we give it permission to move us forward and show us the beauty of our own soul in action. We release it, we let it go, we know it is done, and so it is.
So it is.